Hi, welcome to Table Talk. I'm your host, Karen Wilson. My guest today is Chief Musician Sarah Tietsort of the United States Navy Band Sea Chanters. Chief Tietsort is a native of South Bend, Indiana, and joined the band in 2008. She earned a Bachelor of Arts in Music and Performance from Bethel College in 2005 and a Master's of Music from Belmont University. Since joining the Sea Chanters, Chief Musician Tietsort has been featured on national tours and has appeared as a soloist on many local concerts. She will be performing with the Sea Chanters on March 9th at the Park Theater for a free concert. Chief Tietsort, welcome to Table Talk. Thank you so much for joining us today. You are in Washington, D.C., is that correct?
Yes, I am.
So, if you don't mind, tell me the history of the Sea Chanters and specifically how the group began.
Sure. So the Sea Chanters were actually formed in 1956 as an all-male chorus, and it was the aim to preserve the sea shanty. And it wasn't until 1980 that women were added to the group, which of course enhanced the musical product that you see today.
And I guess, how do members of the band serve, and talk to us about the purpose of the Sea Chanters and the Navy Band?
Well, members of the Navy Band serve as active duty sailors, and we typically don't have a normal work day at the office, let's say. And so outside of our scope of musical responsibilities, we have other responsibilities that help run our organization. And so, for instance, I'm one of the tour managers, and so I actually helped plan this tour and coordinated the planning and the logistics for all the aspects of this tour.
So, that I thought was interesting. I guess, who makes up the group, and how are its members chosen? I thought this was pretty interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are 20 singers and 3 instrumentalists. And essentially, we go through a pretty vigorous audition process. And so we'll actually get screened, send in some recordings of ourselves, and then we actually perform in front of a panel of folks. And we are tested on our sight reading and our choral blending, our solo singing. And so it's a highly competitive audition process.
You all don't have anyone from Tennessee in your group, do you?
No, but I actually did. I did go to school at Belmont University. What's funny is that, I mentioned that I did sing country with our country band for about 6 months, and I went to Belmont to study opera, not country.
Oh, uh-huh. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and you kind of forget sometimes that they're very well-rounded. It's not just the country music capital of the world. I mean, they're teaching everything at Belmont, all kinds of music.
Yes, and I felt like I got a stellar education there. So I went there for grad school, and I loved it. I loved it.
Do you ever do plays or anything like that? I mean, your voice, I could see you probably acting and doing things like that as well.
I've done several shows, and I've actually been able to do some shows while being in the group, but that's kind of far and few between just because our schedule is very,
Yeah, I
um,
bet.
it's so varied. And so it's not always, it doesn't kind of fit in this neat little box.
And I guess, just for you personally, how did the Navy Band come on your radar as something you wanted to do?
Yeah, so for me personally, I always knew that as a kid that I wanted to be a singer, but I wasn't sure how that was going to look like. And it wasn't until a college professor had actually mentioned the possibility of serving in the Navy in the choir. And at first I thought, that is definitely not something that I want to do. I'm never going to join the military. But then when I really thought about it, it was one of those things where I thought, gosh, I get to serve my country while doing the very thing that I love to do. All right, why not? Let's try this.
Well, I thought that was very interesting when I read that, like, it's not like you join the military and then decide to join the Navy band. It's almost the opposite. You try out, and then if you make it or you're chosen, then you join the military. What is that like? I guess mentally you're like, oh my goodness, now I got to join the military.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you noticed my eyes got really big as you asked me that. But yes, so, we are active duty sailors. And so we go through boot camp. We go to Great Lakes and we all get trained the same way. And it's very mentally daunting. But, honestly, I feel like if I can get through boot camp, then anybody can get through boot camp. And honestly, I would totally go through boot camp again if it meant to keep this job.
So when you envisioned yourself, I guess, being a singer, you never really pictured it, I guess, in a uniform, but do you find this more rewarding than, say, being on the stage alone?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I get to represent sailors that are serving all across our nation and all across the world. And I get to communicate, I get to be the face of the Navy for all of those sailors who are working for us 24/7.
That's awesome. So tell us about sea songs. I never really thought about this. And then the other day, serendipitously, Mutiny on the Bounty was on and they were singing sea songs. And I thought, that's I never really thought about that tradition. Tell me what a sea song is and about the tradition of a sea song.
Sure. So, sea shanties or the sea song is essentially a work song that sailors would sing in order to synchronize teamwork on the ship. So, back in the day, we had wooden ships and not like the ships that we have made out of steel with modern technology. And so, they would synchronize teamwork in order to help steer the boats or steer the ships.
I never realized it had that purpose. That is so cool to think about the purpose of it. It wasn't just that they were trudging along, it was to keep pace, I guess, with the job duties they were doing.
Absolutely.
And I guess now with the new ships, that's probably not as common, but it's an old tradition that you guys want to keep alive.
Absolutely. Yes, it is.
So, what are some of the events that the Sea Chanters have performed at, and what stands out to you personally? What are you most proud of?
So we sing for all kinds of historical events, including state funerals. I personally have performed at three inaugurations for three presidents, which has been pretty
Awesome.
amazing. And we've performed at professional sporting events and dedication ceremonies, White House events. And speaking of White House events, probably one of my most proud moments has been being able to sing at the White House on my 30th birthday. And President Barack Obama actually shook my hand and wished me a happy birthday. So
Wow.
that was really, really neat and something I like to brag about from time to time.
Well, I don't blame you. I would too. That's awesome that you get in the presence of people that are, making the laws and shaping the way we live and things like that. But you're also giving back to your country because you all go and kind of, as you said, represent the Navy on these tours and things. So your group, as we said, is stationed out of Washington, D.C. Tell us about your 2024 tour.
Yeah, so we're going to have the opportunity to perform. We're going to travel through Virginia, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Texas. And we're going to be performing about 17 public concerts on this particular tour. So it's going to be a pretty extensive tour, but we're going to be performing lots of really great music. It's a variety of songs, and it's going to be something for everyone. Everyone is going to enjoy this concert, and it's going to be about 80 minutes worth of music. And so we're actually going to be performing on March 9th at the Park Theater in McMinnville, and it's a 7 p.m. show.
We are very excited about that. We have lots of, Tennessee is known as the volunteer state, so there's lots of veterans here and enlisted folks, and we're very proud that it's a free event. You can sign up. I ordered some tickets the other day for my dad and his wife and my father-in-law and mother-in-law, and very excited to take them to this. I guess tell me how long it takes the group. What's your days like as far as practicing, and how long it takes to learn a song, and then just the perfection of it?
Well, and to be honest, us singers, we are definitely perfectionists. It's we're definitely type A, but it just depends on the song. Typically it can be anywhere from, maybe a week to months. And so, in fact, actually, we have a couple of foreign language pieces that we're doing, and we actually had to start preparing for those back in October of 2023, just because it's very wordy and it's very fast. And so, you just really need to get it into your body and really get it into your mouth, and be able to share the message of that story. Because not most of us are English speaking, and so we don't necessarily, foreign language doesn't always come easily to us. And anyway, it just depends on the song.
Mm-hmm. I did see that. That was fascinating. I don't know if there are other foreign language songs, but you all sang an Israeli song. Is that correct? At a state event?
Yes, yes, we have. We've also sung in Russian, French, German, Italian, and yeah, you name it. We've probably done it.
And I guess that's a sign of respect if you are in the country, or if you're performing for statesmen that come to the United States for dinners and things like that. I just read and would think also that that's comforting for them to hear something in their own language, and a sign of respect for them.
Yes, it is absolutely. In fact, actually, I got to be part of an event at the CNO's house, and they had the Japanese counterpart come and have dinner, and we sang Hana Wasaku, and he immediately wept. He was so moved. And that just really helps to build the bridge that between our countries. And so that's what's really neat, is that we are ambassadors of music, and we make a huge impact not only to the American people but to other countries.
Yeah, and music is, I mean, that's just the bridge. Everybody, every country, every culture has music in it. And it's something that I think is common to all humanity.
Absolutely. Yeah, music is a universal language.
So, give us a few of the lyrics of. I'm going to put you on the spot here, which we did talk about this, a little bit ahead of time. You kind of had thought about this, I guess. Your favorite song, or to tease the audience on your upcoming performance at the Park Theater.
Okay. Well, do you like some Elvis?
I do. I love Elvis. With the Elvis movie last year and stuff, I think it brought back such a resurgence, and he's near and dear to my heart because when I was a kid, me and my best friend were just Elvis freaks, and she introduced me to him and that kind of thing. And so you take it away.
Okay. You ain't nothing but a hound dog snooping round my door. You ain't nothing but a hound dog snooping round my door. You better wag your tail, 'cause I ain't gonna feed you no more.
I love it. And that is a great introduction to you all sing. We talked about sea songs and sea chants, but you all sing a variety of music. So there's going to be something for everyone at the show, correct?
Absolutely. You're going to have pop, folk songs, jazz, Elvis. I mean, it will just, the gamut runs everywhere. It's going to, yeah.
And about how many are in the group? I know explain this to me. There's many versions of the Navy band. Is that correct? And then the Sea Chanters are one portion of the overall Navy band. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. So the Navy Band has 174 members, and we have six performing units. And so the Sea Chanters are the official chorus of the Navy. And so there's also the Country Current, which is the country band, the Commodores, which is the jazz band, the Cruisers, which is the rock band, and then we have the concert band and the ceremonial band.
Wow, did you get to choose which one that you wanted to be a part of, or is that kind of chosen for you?
Well, I know that a lot of people who play various different instruments end up having to substitute for various people from time to time. So, like, I had the opportunity last year, or actually a couple of years ago, to sing with the Country Current, which is the country band, and I got to sing lead vocals for that for about 6 months after our vocalist had retired. And so we often will substitute for each other. Sometimes our folks have actually performed with the Cruisers rock band or with the Commodores and have sung some standard jazz pieces, but we typically audition for a particular group. So for me, I auditioned specifically for the Sea Chanters.
And was there a certain thing that drew you to the Sea Chanters part of the Navy band?
You know, gosh, that's a really great question. So my experience has been a little unique in that I actually had auditioned for the Marine Corps, the Air Force, and the Army, and I got turned down by all of them.
Well, I
And
can't see how because you have a phenomenal voice.
oh, that's very sweet. Thank you. And so actually I thought, okay, well, which group haven't I auditioned for yet? And oh, I haven't auditioned for the Navy. And from the moment of me thinking, gosh, the Navy would be an awesome experience. Like, let me just see if they have an opening. And they just so happened to do it. And it was, like you said, serendipitous that it was like, okay, maybe this is meant to be. And when I came to Washington, D.C. and was in the band building, it felt like home.
Now, do
Yes.
you have plans to retire? Are you wanting to stay in long term, or do you think of retirement?
Um, yeah, I do think of retirement. So my husband and I, we've been married now, it'll be 16 years in October, and I've been in the Navy for just about as long. And technically I can retire at 20.
Mhm.
So that'll be in about 4.5 years, but I can stay till 24 years. And we have a young son. So we've sort of thought about, oh, okay, well, if I get out, then I can kind of be a stay-at-home mom and I can kind of take care of some things with our son. Um,
Yeah,
but
that's appealing as a mom. I always thought, oh no, I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom. And then once you have them and all the activities, you're like, that would be nice to be there a little more.
yeah, 100%. Absolutely. So, but I don't know. So we'll see. I mean, like I said, I can stay till 24 years. And this job really is amazing. And there's so many things that you can do within the organization that,
Really.
oh, yeah, absolutely. Whether it's on the production side or with our operations office or through the supply. I mean, there's just lots of different departments within the organization. And so I could do that if I decided if I want to stay a little bit longer, or I may just
Mhm.
stay for time. So
Well, that's a great opportunity. I never knew that anything like that you could join and be a professional singer in the military. So that's very enlightening. Wow. And that's, everything always ends up being usually the best purpose and where we're supposed to be. So, Chief Musician Sarah Tietsort, I so appreciate you coming and talking to us about the Navy Band and the Sea Chanters. We're so excited for you all to come. And again, it's on March 9th. I believe, at the Park Theater. It's a free concert. All you have to do is go onto the Park Theater's website and you can pre-order your tickets. I'm sure you could even show up at the door too, but just to make sure you have a seat, it's always great to pre-order. There's no charge for them. When I checked out, it was zero that I had to put in as far as my tickets go. So we look forward to, hopefully I can meet you when you get face to face when you all come on the 9th.
Oh, I would love that. That would be awesome.
Well, thank you so much. This is you are on the Eastern time, so you guys are an hour ahead of us. Is that right? So we've filmed this a little early. I may still have some sleep in my eyes, but that's okay. You guys have been up for a while now. So thank you so much for joining me, and we look forward to seeing you on the 9th.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
And I'll say thank you to our audience for joining us today. Come back again next week for more Table Talk.